Hello and welcome again to Christine's Creativity Cabinet. Well, it's almost Thanksgiving and fall is almost over, but I just thought that I'd do just one more little video with some fall DIYs that would be just in time for Thanksgiving. So let's get to making. I saw those birds in the Walgreens ad and I immediately knew I wanted to dupe them. So I found these pears at Dollar Tree and they were the perfect thing to make the birds' bodies. I started by giving them a coat of Plaster Waverly chalk paint. Once the paint was dry, it was time to make birds. I found in my stash some fuzzy socks that were left over from another project. So I used those to make the basic base for the birds. I just cut off a toe, and then I stuck the pear inside the toe, and that covered most of the pear. Then I made the headpiece from some orange felt. I basically just cut a circle out, and then folded it in half, and then cut a half oval next to the fold. Unfolded it so I had two little half ovals and a little beak shape, which I kind of trimmed, and then I was able to attach that to the top of the head with some pins. I cut a little wedge out of the back to make it assume the shape a little better, and I just used straight pins. In fact, I used straight pins for all of this. The eyes, as you could see earlier, were just a couple of doll's eyes that were from my Amazon set. And I was able to just poke them into the styrofoam pear. And then it was time to make some clothes for my little bird, so I made some pants from this plaid fabric. It was a kind of a fall pattern from Dollar Tree. I just cut a wide strip and I pinned it all the way around the bird. Then I cut some narrow strips from the same fabric and used those to make little straps for my bird's pants. I just pinned those on around the bird's shoulders. I tried to make legs for the bird from some Dollar Tree wire garland, but it totally didn't work. I couldn't get it to poke into the pear adequately. So instead I found some very thin dowels in my stash, and I was able to use those to make legs for the bird. I just cut them to size and then stuck them into the styrofoam. Then I added a couple of cute little buttons that I got from Temu to the ends of the bird's straps. And I took some ribbon from Target Bullseye's Playground and I made it into a little bow. And I pinned that to the front to make a little bow tie. Okay, now you can see that I'm doing the second bird. And I started her in the same way as the first bird. And I wanted to make a little skirt for her. And I was going to use this mesh that I got from Dollar Tree. But I fiddled with it a lot and I found that I really couldn't make it work. So then I found this wide pumpkin ribbon from Dollar Tree, and what I did was I cut it into strips, and then I pinned the strips all the way around the bird, overlapping them slightly, and that worked to make a little skirt. I thought it was really interesting that this ribbon was vertically aligned instead of horizontally aligned, and so that's why I kind of used this particular technique for it. Then I made some wings from some orange felt. and legs from those same kind of thin wooden dowels. Pinned on a little Dollar Tree sunflower embellishment under one of her wings, and then I made a little bow with my Amazon black and white check ribbon, which I've used in so many projects. I also decided to put a strip of that ribbon around the top of the bird's skirt. And then the second bird was done. For the third bird, I used a red fuzzy sock, and I made his head in the same way as the other birds. And I made wings from this yellow fleece that I found in my stash. Then I made pants for this bird from this Dollar Tree burlap ribbon. So I pretty much used the same technique that I used for the first bird. Just pin that around, and then I used this Dollar Tree sunflower ribbon to make the straps. And this time I kind of crossed the straps because I thought that would look a little cuter. And then I pinned a sunflower where the straps crossed, and my third bird was done. The birds couldn't really stand on their own. They needed a stand, and I found in my stash this piece from a styrofoam wreath form that was the perfect thing. All I had to really do was cover it with some of that burlap ribbon and stick the birds in it, and here they are. They're all done. I think they look really adorable.
Oh my god, this is cute, this is cute, this is cute.
They're just perfect for my cutesy aesthetic.
I had previously bought this flat rolling pin from Dollar Tree, and I didn't really want to miss using it in a DIY. So I got that idea from that Temu piece, and I used some of this picture that I took at Walmart of these white pumpkins. I just traced the rectangle onto the picture, cut it out, and then I glued it on to the rolling pin with a glue stick. And then I took my Dollar Tree sanding sponge and sanded the edges to make them a lot smoother and more finished looking. Then I took this metal welcome word, which I believe I had gotten at Dollar Tree at one time. It was in my stash. And I colored it black with a black Posca pen. When the ink was dry, it looked kind of distressed, but I liked that look, so I didn't worry about it. I used some little mounting squares to attach it to the rolling pin. I just cut the mounting squares down to little bitty pieces and attached them to the back, and then peeled off all the backing paper and attached it to the rolling pin. Then I took some of this black and white checked ribbon, which I love to use so much, and I tied little bows around the handles of the rolling pin. And then the final touch was to hot glue some cute little buttons from Temu to the top of the rolling pin. And here's the finished rolling pin. This was super quick and easy to make. I loved the simplicity of this inspiration piece, so I decided I wanted to do my own take on it. So I got out a Dollar Tree Plus board, and I got some of that Dollar Tree plaid fall fabric, and I figured out which lines on the design that I needed to cut on to make a rectangle that would fit inside the board. And then I cut that out. And then, once that was done, I painted the edges with Waverly Antique Wax. Once the wax was dry, then I gave the inside of the board a coat of Mod Podge. Then I pressed my piece of fabric into the Mod Podge and smoothed it out and made it nice and flat. Then I had found this wooden pumpkin, and I think it originally came from a banner that I'd gotten from Target Full Size Playground. So I took this black and white narrow ribbon and cut a piece and threaded it through the holes, and then tied a nice little bow in there. Then I had this metal leaf that I know that I pulled off something, probably some Dollar Tree sign somewhere or but anyway, I hot glued that to the pumpkin. And then I found this little wooden pumpkin, which I think originally was a sticker that I had colored with Posca pens. And I glued that onto my little pumpkin. And then I just glued the pumpkin to the sign, and I also glued on the metal word harvest that I had previously colored with a brown Posca pen. And then I needed to make a little hanger for the sign, so I just tied a loop from that black and white check ribbon. And I used a ruler to figure out where exactly the center of the sign was, and I hot glued that down. And then here's my finished sign, and I think it's just so beautifully simple. I knew I wanted to do some sort of upgrade to this big pumpkin sign from Dollar Tree, but I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. But I decided to just get started with it. First, I sanded off all the glitter on the letters, and then I took a green Posca pen and made some leaves and filled them in just so that I could have some solid leaves on there. And then I took pumpkin Waverly chalk paint and I painted the body of the pumpkin with that. It didn't completely cover up all the words and stuff, so off camera I gave it 2 more coats to make sure that it covered everything. Then I painted the stem of the pumpkin with truffle Waverly chalk paint. Once the paint was dry, I was like, well, okay, what do I do with this? Well, I found these nice napkins that I'd gotten from Dollar Tree, so I decided I would decoupage the napkins, the little napkin design onto the bottom of the pumpkin. So I made a nice torn edge on there, and I separated the backing layer from the napkin, and then I just put Mod Podge down and stuck the napkin to the pumpkin, put more Mod Podge on the top. Then when the Mod Podge was dry, I took my sanding sponge and sanded around the edges, and that made a nice edge. So this was nice. I like how this turned out, but then it's like, what now? Well, I found these stickers in my stash. I think they originally came from Target Bullseye's Playground. So I peeled off the Gather sticker, put it on there. I didn't feel like that the gold on there really showed up enough. So I took my brown Posca pen and I went over the letters and made them brown. But once the ink was dry, I discovered I really didn't like how it turned out. It might be hard to see on camera, but the edges were really rough and they didn't look good. So I basically just peeled the whole sticker off and decided to do something else. Eventually I settled on that I really wanted some texture, so I took some Plaster Waverly chalk paint, excuse me, and I applied it with a kind of a dry brush technique using my foam dauber. And I liked that texture. And then I felt that those leaves were a little too bright, so I painted over them with Fern Waverly chalk paint.
Look at that. We are painting. We're painting. We're painting. We're painting.
Then I found this wooden-backed metal thankful word, which I must have pulled off of something somewhere. But it was the perfect thing, and so I hot glued it on.
It's there, darn it. I'm gonna use it.
And then I hot glued on some ivy leaves from a sprig that I'd gotten from Dollar Tree. And that looked really nice. And then I took my trusty black and white check ribbon again, and I made a bow, and I hot glued that on. And I also found a cute little cardboard pumpkin in my stash. So that got hot glued on there, and then I used my same black and white check ribbon to make a hanger. There was already holes in the sign, and so I was able to just thread it through the holes and tie knots to create a hanger for my sign. And here's my finished sign. I actually think it turned out pretty great considering the struggle I had with my creative process with it.
It's almost like I know what I'm doing.